Hello everyone, welcome to week 1 of our Education 595 course. Before I jump into any content, I want to make sure that I take care of a couple of logistical things. So first and foremost, you will notice that Learning Module 1 is split over the course of 2 weeks. This is our only learning module that we will spend 2 weeks on. I like to provide that extra time because I know it's a lot to get used to at the start, and I really want you this week to focus on understanding how does Blackboard work, how do I post my discussion board responses, how do I get in contact with people. So I like to spread the content a little bit more than usual. So a couple of things related to that. If you are watching this video, that means that several things should have already happened. The first thing you needed to do was complete the course orientation. So there was a red tab that said Start Here, Course Orientation. That tells you a very detailed overview of what do these gifted endorsement classes at Winthrop look like and what are the expectations. One thing I did want to point out, this is a fully online class. It is a graduate level course and there is a lot that we have to cover. Even more so because this particular class is separated, or not separated, rather condensed to 6 weeks. So it's a lot of content to keep in touch with. It's a lot of things to make sure that you're reading and listening to. My biggest advice is just don't fall behind. So it is a lot, but I have full confidence in you guys, and it's fun material. I find it very interesting, at least. But just make sure that you are keeping an eye on your email and an eye on all other correspondence as well. Also included in the course orientation folder at the very end, it directed you to go look at our course information. So that red tab is all about just Education 595. Within that tab, you should have found my welcome video as well as the course syllabus. So a few notes about the course syllabus. Please do make sure that you read that carefully, particularly in terms of my expectations and in different course policies. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to email me. I'd be more than happy to set up a meeting with you if that would be better as well. I did include a course schedule at the end of the syllabus, but note that it says tentative, and most of us are educators here, and we know that quality teaching really does need to adjust with our learners, so it is subject to change, but I did want to give you a quick overview of what to expect for the semester. In every welcome video, I will outline very clearly what your expectations are for the week, and those will also be posted on our learning module pages. So that's a good segue into our first week. So Learning Module 1 is all about differentiation. And differentiation is the bread and butter of serving gifted and talented students. I will say it's also a pretty big buzzword in education right now. We're all talking about differentiation. I'm not quite sure that we're all doing it. Honestly, it's intimidating. It's intimidating to me, and this is what I do for a living. But really, it's intimidating because of a lot of the incorrect usage of that term. So it's important that we're not saying differentiation and expecting to create different lesson plans for every single student in our classroom. We know that is just definitely not possible. So in terms of this first week, we will start with our first discussion post and case study. So this case study is based on 3 real-world classrooms. Within classrooms A, B, and C, we have teachers who are working hard to meet the needs of their gifted and talented learners. So you will see evidence of how they are attempting to differentiate in their classroom. After you have read the case study, you'll progress to looking at the content in the library materials. Now, one note about the library content. Within that, you have handouts, videos, lectures, and readings. I want to say up front that I purposely repeat myself throughout these materials, and that's done because I'm differentiating. That is a way of differentiating for learning preference. Some of you prefer to first learn by reading. Some prefer to first learn by video. Some prefer a big picture overview, so you want the handouts. So in terms of library content, yes, you are responsible for all of the material, but it repeats itself on purpose. So my advice is always to choose your preferred modality and start there. I learn a lot by reading. I like to read articles. It helps me understand, and then I like to fan off from there. So if I were taking the course, I would read all of the articles first. Then I would choose my next favorite thing, and then the next, and the next. By the time I got to that last thing, chances are I already have read that material somewhere else. So you will review all of the content in the library, and then post your discussion board 1. So as I mentioned in our welcome video, discussion board posts are always due initially on Saturday by noon, and then they will be due, your reactions to those posts are due Sunday evening. So this discussion post is pretty general. What I'm asking you to do is analyze these 3 different classrooms in terms of differentiation. When we speak about differentiation, and this is something you'll see within the course materials this week, your key word there is different. So it's literally within differentiation. Different, not more. A lot of times we think differentiation just means here's another worksheet, here's more practice problems, but that's just more of the same thing. So the challenge is that we are definitely differentiating by providing different opportunities. We can differentiate for 3 different things. The most common is readiness, so how much the student knows about the material. But we can also differentiate for interest and learning preference, which I mentioned previously in terms of the library content. How do you prefer to learn? Within that, we can differentiate the content that we're giving, as well as the process that the students are using to understand that content, and the product that they are producing. So all of that is within your library materials. I just wanted to give you some quick hints. Again, so what you're doing is reading through that case study and reading through those library materials. Post your initial response by Saturday at noon, and then your reactions to your classmates' post by Sunday evening. Please make sure you're reading the material carefully. I do have pretty high expectations for these discussion board posts. You'll see in the directions and the rubric that I'm looking for you to cite your sources. I'm more concerned about the internal citations. If you're not familiar with APA citations, you need to become familiar with it. Don't become overwhelmed though. I'm not a huge stickler. I need you to cite your sources because it's important that we are giving credit to who we are, to who deserves it. So if you have never used APA before, I would recommend the Purdue OWL website. It's probably the easiest and most user-friendly to get you started. So that's our first week, and in terms of content, it's a lot. So we have to really hit the ground running, and this is a good place for us to start because I think that differentiation just creates a good conversation, and then as we progress throughout the course, we'll see how everything kind of stems from differentiation at its core. One last extra thing I'm asking you to do this week is to post an introductory discussion board post. You'll see a link to that right below. This is a really easy 5 points toward the course. I just want to know who you are. I already posted my response, so I'm asking you to tell me what's your experience working with gifted children, what do you really want to learn from this course, and tell us something fun about you so we can get to know you. If you have any questions, remember I'm always here. I welcome questions, and I know this is a quick course, but I do want to get to know you all and continue to support you as best as I can. Okay, good luck with the first week, and remember that I'm just an email away.